Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hari Krishna, Hari Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hari Krishna, Hari Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Jai Shri Radha, Jai Shri Radha, Radha Radha, Jai Shri Radha, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. No Kundalini awakening happens by mistake. There are obvious signs, a couple of them being you will feel heat in your spine, you will experience rocking or a spiraling sensation within. Those are obvious. The less obvious are the emotional components and the mental components, and the way the magnetic energy of the Kundalini is pulling things that you need into your life so that you can work through your blocks and your karma. Illumination means that you can feel the light. The Kundalini energy is electrical light force of God, the Divine Mother. And you can feel that light when it wakes up inside of you. And it wakes up inside of you because you're ready for that. And it may take many lifetimes, but still you're very far along in your karmic evolution for this awakening to be happening, however long it takes you. What you can do to not get caught in loops, karmic loops, where you're magnifying your shadow energy, is that you can learn to accept the unacceptable about yourself. The illumination that you feel is not only a light feeling, but it's a feeling of darkness at times, because we're illuminating the shadow side of our ego. And the illumination of that shadow side of our ego is going to want to project all of its darkness onto the world around it, affecting relationships, affecting all areas of our lives, until we really learn the lesson that it is within me. And when I take responsibility, however much I may not want to, or I want to blame someone, when I take responsibility and bring it back to me, I finally have some power over my life and what happens. Because what's happening and how I'm reacting to what's happening is all a matter of perspective. And you can quickly change your perspective just by doing some deep breathing. Practice deep breathing for a few minutes before you get in an argument. Practice deep breathing for a few minutes when you feel panicked or you want to cave into an addictive habit. Practice deep breathing every morning, just because you bring light into yourself. And be ready for what you find there, because everybody has baggage. Everybody has those deep hidden things that we have been piling up lifetime after lifetime, storing. Sometimes it comes out through sickness, sometimes it comes out through all sorts of things. However, when the Kundalini energy is awakened and begins to rise, it illuminates the darkness that we all have. And until that darkness is illuminated and worked through and integrated, we will not advance spiritually. You're here on this planet right now, and this is happening to you so that you can bring more spiritual energy into your own body, therefore releasing it into the world. This is how the world creates balance. This is how we keep going on as humans, is that some people are able to take in the darkness, turn it into light. which is an ability of an awakened Kundalini, is the transmutation of darkness into light. You start to learn that by working with yourself, and it becomes automatic. Your body, your subconscious mind just starts turning the darkness into light, starting with yourself. However, we don't go out and try to save the world. We sit here and we save ourselves. And we get out of this Jesus complex, we get out of competing, we get out of bragging, we just get quiet, get into a corner, or go out into the world. But whatever you're doing, maintain your center, keep the awareness going inward, watching yourself, watching how you're reacting to people and things, watching your breath, paying attention to whether or not you're tripping out in your head or you're actually in the moment, completely aware of your body, completely aware of your breath, completely aware of your center and when you're getting thrown off. This is what mastery is. This is what's required so that we can work through what rises when that shadow is illuminated. Because we're not getting rid of our darkness, we're not becoming a good person, we are embracing the totality of ourselves. And that's going to take a master. So maybe in this life someone has an awakening and they just want to dabble. Maybe this person has an awakening and they really want to move full force into their liberation and die while still living, therefore not fearing actual death, because we already know what it is. So we're in this body, we're working through the karma, through this body, with this body. We turn this body into a temple, we respect this body, and we come to terms with reality that we're going to have to face some darkness. And when we're feeling our own darkness and when we're receptive to our own shadow, we then become more receptive to other people's darkness. We then become more sensitive to other people. So we have to be careful who we hang around with, where we go, not because we're afraid, but because we're aware. And spend our time wisely in places. Listen to the right things, eat the right things, absorb the right things, basically. Because anything that pollutes you, you then have to work through that as well as what you're already carrying. So when we do things like daily spiritual practices, or when we do retreats, we're fortifying this work. We're releasing blockages. We're ascending. We're moving up the spine. We are opening our hearts. The retreats are a condensed version of what might be possible. And when we do the daily practice, it leads up to the retreat, and then we do the daily practice, and it leads up to the retreat, and we're ever advancing in our development. And we're learning how to contain more velocity, more electrical power, more force of light. When our darkness is illuminated, and when we work through our shadow energy, it becomes light. It adds to the light that we already have. And all of that shadow and all of that trauma and all of that darkness is mixed with talents and abilities and genius and brilliance. So it's a wild ride, but one worth taking, because what humans are capable of and what humans are currently engaging in themselves is a very different thing. What you're capable of, experiencing, feeling, sharing with the world, creating, is unfathomable. So take my words to heart and consider a daily spiritual practice, breathing, chanting, mantra, stretching. Pay careful attention to what you eat, the sleep that you get, the people that you go around. Consider joining us here at a retreat, if you're local, a yoga class or two. And I'm also currently working on a retreat in Rishikesh that I hope to be doing regularly. So you come and join us at a retreat in Rishikesh with all that spiritual energy for thousands of years. And there's no telling what kind of breakthrough you could have. But speaking from experience, those things, those moments, those encounters, 2 weeks, a week out of your life can change your life for good, can change who you are permanently, can open your eyes to a whole new reality, which is really what the ascension or the fifth dimension is all about, is that this reality is already here and now. It's what we are aware of that is the issue, and what we aren't aware of. That includes within ourselves, and that includes in the dimensions around us and what we're picking up on. So when we fine-tune ourselves and become more subtle and receptive and turning inward and knowing ourselves entirely, it requires mastery, because we're going to be receptive to a lot of things that might be difficult to handle. This is why as humans we need to be dumbed down, because we can't handle the stimulation of what's actually going on in all the dimensions around us all the time. But the Kundalini energy is divine, feminine intelligence. You didn't have a Kundalini awakening by mistake. And while this energy needs to be contained by your commitment and your taking responsibility as a way of life on how to raise that energy in a healthy, sustainable way, this energy can get pulled into places in our life and be given too much power and create all new karma. So it's very important. It's like driving a really fast car or riding a really fast horse. You need to know how to ride it. You need to know what it's capable of, what you're capable of. So consider what I'm saying and take my words to heart. That it isn't a quick fix. It isn't like, oh, I had an enlightenment experience. Oh, I have this power or that city or whatever. This is about a complete overhaul of your DNA and your body and what your body can handle and how much electricity and charge your body and your nervous system can take, and how your body is going to have to little by little adapt itself and recreate itself to house the divinity, really, that is coursing through you. And when the blocks are removed, the light increases, our healing power increases, and our purpose comes to be known. And life has meaning in the fact that we are life itself. The Divine Mother speaks through us. The Divine Mother looks through us, touches through us, and heals through us. But until we know that we are one with that power, we hurt ourselves and others by ignorance. And the thing about a Kundalini awakening is, you can no longer live in ignorance. It can no longer be bliss for you. Ignorance, denial, disowning will only cause more entanglement and suffering, because this is the blessing of the Divine Mother, that we stop wasting time and playing around and we get on track to the light that we are. Remember to breathe and come back to your heart. Eyes on the third eye. Create a solid and stable foundation for your life, and let your light shine as it was meant to shine. Om Namah Shivaya.